Demons are real, and they know Jesus by his true identity. How much more should we know him? I'm Onisha, the host of this show, Glory Bites. Glory Bites is a short podcast that encourages women to taste and see that the Lord is good, and blessed are you as you take refuge in him. Today we finish up the book of Luke chapter 8, seeing that they made it to the other side. Yesterday they had doubts. They thought they were going to die in this boat. Now we continue on in this chapter to finish and see that God is truly our deliverer. Okay, so let's jump right in. So in chapter 8, we see that they arrive to the other side, and on the other side, they see this man possessed by demons. He is in a horrible state. He is homeless, naked, and living in a tomb among the dead. People can be possessed by demons. When we read scripture, we can't just think, oh, this was then and this is not happening now. It's unfortunate that some people have surrendered their life to the devil and his minions and are being possessed by demons. But the word says that as soon as he saw Jesus, he shrinked and fell down. The demons have no authority when Jesus is in the space. The demon that's in the man professes, "Why are you interfering with me, Jesus, the Son of the Most High God?" The demon knew Jesus by his true identity. The demons interfere with the work of Jesus in people's life. And when this demon gets close to Jesus, he gets low to Jesus. It says he shrunk down. So Jesus commands the spirit to leave. This lets us know in the New Living, it changes the wording and it says the spirit. This war that we are in daily is a spiritual war. It's not our flesh, what we can see in a person. It is all spirit. He begs Jesus not to torture him, because Jesus has already commanded the evil spirits to flee. It says that the spirit had often taken control of this man. He was completely under the demon's power. This was so upsetting to just read the fact that this man was so possessed. But the thing that gave me joy is what happens next. Jesus says, "What's your name?" He's like, "Legion," because he was filled with many demons. It says in some commentaries that a legion in a Roman army was like thousands. It was like thousands of people. So he had to have many demons. So the demons began to beg Jesus not to send them to hell. They begged to be sent into pigs. They wanted to go anywhere but hell. They know that's their home and they did not want to go back there. So Jesus gave them permission to go into the pigs, and their way out ended in death. Sometimes we think our plans in our life, it's good for us, but it may cause something in us to die. We may lose a little bit of ourselves by trying to make a plan. And we see these demons, they made a plan and it didn't end up well for them. So this man is now released from these demons, and the eyewitnesses see this, and news is spreading, and his deliverance is causing fear instead of faith in people, because they was too worried about their money, their livestock. Them pigs just died. That's all money basically. Like how you hear people say money going down the drain. It's going down the drain. It made me think that sometimes people would rather see you suffering than to see you delivered. So the people was begging him to leave, begging Jesus to leave, and a great wave of fear came over them. Next, we see that this free man, he wanted the opposite. They wanted Jesus to, get away from them, and he wanted to draw closer to him. He wanted more time. But Jesus told him, "Go home and tell what God has done for you." And he went and told all over the town. Often we see in the other readings that we've had so far that it's not time to tell their testimony yet. He would say, don't share, don't share. But Legion got to share his testimony because of the present state where he was in. He would be able to expand that to the Gentiles all around him. So I just want to ask you, will you tell people how much Jesus has done for you? Next, we see who touched me. Jesus goes back to the other side, and the crowds are welcoming and waiting for him. And then you got Jairus, this leader of the synagogue, who's coming to plead for his 12-year-old daughter who has died. Jesus goes with him, but on the way there, there's a woman in the crowd who has been bleeding for 12 years and could nobody cure her. It made me think of the woman the other day with the alabaster jar, because the scripture said that this woman came from behind Jesus as well. And this time she touched the fringe of his robe. Some translations say the hem of his robe. And immediately the bleeding stopped. Jesus recognized the touch and the power that came out of him. He said that someone deliberately has touched me because I felt the healing power go out from me. And Peter was like, bro, everybody pushing in on you. Like, you can't just say that. But it made me think that some people like to stay in the crowd and some people like to get near to the stage. Woo! And Jesus is like at the stage, and so they pressing in. And so are you one of those ones who want to press in and get to the stage and get to the hem of the robe? Or you one of those ones who want to sit in the crowd? It's like having floor seats versus sitting in nosebleed. That's a real good perspective to see how close you want to be to Jesus. So Jesus heals this woman, and then her faith, she thought it was going to be, I get a little touch and I'm going to disappear. But he put it on display. And to let the crowd know that it wasn't the healing and the touch of the robe, it was her faith. Because she would have been considered unclean because of the bleeding and all the, things in Leviticus about being ceremonial unclean. But I like this. This lets us know that Jesus is accessible to women. He also is accessible to those who want to draw near to him. And he did not overlook her, even though culturally he didn't care what it would look like that, he's dealing with this woman who was quote unquote unclean to everybody else. So then Jairus gets word that his daughter has died, and Jesus hears this report and he says to him, don't be afraid, just have faith, she will be healed. So he goes to Jairus' house. He got Peter, James, and John and her parents. It's like they wailing, and then he like, she ain't dead, she sleep. And they laughing at him. But Jesus was basically like, I'm going to prove to y'all that this ain't no laughing matter, because y'all about to see who laughing, because I'm about to raise her from the dead. So he takes her by the hand and says, my child. He identifies this 12-year-old girl as his own, y'all. That lets us know that he identifies who is his. She goes from being physically dead to physically fed. Jesus tells them after he raises her from the dead, get up and get her something to eat. And then he commands them not to tell anybody what happened. He basically let the healing testify for itself. We see today a lot of deliverance over, demons, over disease, over death. But we see that the requirement for deliverance is to have faith. And that is the truth for today. Deliverance can happen if only you just believe and have faith. Hope you have been encouraged today. Thank you for listening. I hope that you found today's episode encouraging. If you would like to sow a seed into the ministry of Glory Bites, you can buy your girl a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Glory Bites. I am grateful for all the support that you have in this kingdom work of sharing the gospel through Glory Bites. Make sure that you are subscribed to receive all my latest episodes. If you have been encouraged today, please share with a sister. And if you love this podcast, I would love to have a review from you. Also, if you need a way to ride your own bike to go closer to God, please visit glorybikes.com/shop. Thanks for your support.